This article is talking about funding rate, which is basically what the future traders, basically the fees they pay each other. And whenever funding rate is positive, that means there's more longs than shorts. And whatever is negative, that means there's more shorts and long. And the funding rate is in the green and has been in the green for quite some time. I saw someone in the chat say, what's the point of shorting Bitcoin? That's exactly right. You don't want to short Bitcoin right now. I mean, you could be sitting on the sidelines, but shorting Bitcoin doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the funding rate basically concurs that there are a lot more longs than shorts these days, right? We are definitely much closer to the bottom than we are to top. So keep that in mind. What else is there? Of course, there's other models. This one is the Nupal, which basically, this one is actually saying that, because of diminishing returns, because Bitcoin gets bigger with every cycle, you could see that the bottom, the lows are getting higher. The highs are also getting lower, so you're kind of getting like a squeeze, right? But one thing is for certain, we are bouncing off the bottom. We are navigating upwards, and this is measuring basically losses and profits, right? So this is basically saying, yeah, we are recovering already from bottom. So that's pretty good. Here's another one that's MVRV, which basically is kind of measuring the same thing, but you could see we're bouncing off the bottom. So that's also very positive, right? This is what we're doing right now is you can clearly see we're not having a V-shaped recovery like 2020, right? March of 2020 was very different. We had, of course, a major COVID pandemic shutdown, major fear. We had a very big drop, right? But had we not had that drop, that line could have just been like flat. But anyways, I'm looking at what happened in 2018, 2019, right? Even though this is not measuring Bitcoin's chart, it's very similar. But in 2018, 2019, when Bitcoin found that bottom, yeah, take a look at it. It's just kind of sideways, didn't move for a long time. A lot of people still thought at that time, like, oh, no way, it's going to recover. It's going to go lower. It's lower, lower until we recover past that, right? So right now it kind of reminds you of that 2018, 2019 period where we are recovering. A lot of people still disbelief, does not believe it, think we're in a bull trap, right? But only time will tell. Only enough time have passed, then we can verify whether or not that was truly bottom. But there's a lot of models that's saying we are. All right, now, this is what I want to basically talk about. I mean, I think this is no surprise, but I just want to show you guys anyways. I put this on the thumbnail, what's really going on behind the scenes. This is interesting. So, dolphins, sharks, and whales, yes, all mammals, I guess. I was going to say fish, but I don't think that's right. Mammals. Or mammals that live in water. Anyways, it doesn't matter who you are. These are all going up. The number of people that's holding above 1,000 Bitcoin, you can see is going up. Number of people holding above 100 Bitcoin going up. Number of people holding over 10 Bitcoins going up. So this is what's really happening behind the scenes. You could say these are insiders. You could say these guys are just holders. You could say these are new players like BlackRock, right? And the new institutions that are coming in. It doesn't matter how you look at it. The bottom line is there are a ton of buying going on behind the scenes. A lot of this could be operating OTC, so we don't really witness it, right? But one thing's for sure, I have seen that the Bitcoin reserve drop pretty substantially over the last 6, 7, 8 months, right? And it makes sense that a lot of it may be due to OTC sales to some of these whales, sharks, and dolphins, right? So very positive. This is what's going on behind the scenes. There are some massive, massive players that are buying, right? And if you look at the numbers, I know it's kind of cut off, but if you look at the numbers, this is just measuring one day, okay? This is not even measuring like 6 months or so, right? But if you look at the graphs, you could clearly see since our bottom, there's been massive accumulation for all three sea mammals, right? And that's obviously very positive, and hopefully you guys are following. Kevin O'Leary says there's a ton of sovereign wealth funds that want to buy Bitcoin. In fact, he said if there were more regulations around Bitcoin and having Bitcoin properly defined and regulated, you would see it go up to $60-something thousand in 2 weeks, because that's how much money would flow in from the sovereign wealth funds, which apparently he has close relationships with, right? He talks about, I hear about Kevin O'Leary talk about sovereign wealth funds quite a lot, like he's really into it for some reason, right? It doesn't seem like that should be his expertise, but he talks about it all the time. He must have very close friends that's managing these sovereign wealth funds overseas. But he's saying, the only thing holding it back is clarity, I guess, around Bitcoin and who's going to regulate it as SEC or CFTC and all the products that relate to Bitcoin, right? Crypto overall. But he's saying there's so much money waiting to flow in, right? But not just sovereign wealth funds, pension funds still coming in, right? Obviously, I talked a lot about BlackRock. You could argue that could be good or bad, right? Definitely a connection with FTX. But still, there's still a lot of massive interest into Bitcoin and coming into the space. So overall, this is still very good. Houston Texans now accept Bitcoin. So if you're Bitcoin rich and you want to pay for a suite, you could do so with Bitcoin. Okay, they're not the first team, right? There's been many teams that have come around to Bitcoin. Not every team, but slowly and surely. So Bitcoin adoptance is still growing, obviously. And then in terms of the technicals, the models, the metrics, still all very good. This one shows MACD. It's very bottom by my camera, but you could see MACD on a weekly scale is flipping upwards. You don't see that very often. First of all, you don't see MACD hitting bottom, and you don't see it very often that it flips upwards from a bottom position. When was the last time? 2018, December 2018, when Bitcoin had 3,000, right? A lot of similarities between then and now. I've even said the whole thing feels like it. People keep saying, George, it feels like something's holding Bitcoin down. It feels like it should pop, right? It should go up. Same thing in 2018, 2019, around Christmas, going to New Year's. Bitcoin was hovering around $3,000, $4,000, just going sideways. You just felt like it was going to pop. And every day it didn't pop for months and months and months until we hit basically end of April. And then boom, we went up in a big way, right? A huge, huge relief. So can we see that soon? Maybe. You just got to be patient. You got to be patient. But this is interesting. I didn't even know this. The 200 weekly moving average has never gone down week to week. Interesting enough. Okay, so basically it's been going up forever if you're looking at a 200 weekly moving average. You look at the balance on exchanges, still going down. I show this all the time, right? A lot of whales, sharks, dolphins, all buying, and I call them sea mammals. I should rename it sea creatures, not mammals, because I know shark is not a mammal, but everyone is buying right now. That's why the balance on exchanges keeps dropping very significantly. And Coinbase Premium is back up. All right, Coinbase Premium, you don't see it. You don't really hear about it, obviously, when things are down. But the Coinbase Premium has always been a thing where it costs a little bit more to buy on Coinbase versus all the other exchanges because there's more people in Coinbase. There's more FOMO into Coinbase, right? So you don't hear that a lot, but it's coming back. It's coming back in full force. So I don't know if that's a good thing. A lot of you guys are still on Coinbase, I know, but a lot of people have moved off recently. But Coinbase Premium is coming back. The number of holders holding at least 0.1 coins still skyrocketing all-time highs. These things have not changed. So Bitcoin is still very healthy, waiting for that momentum, that pop upwards, right? Kind of hovering at 24,000. That's okay. Like I've been saying, slow and steady wins the race. And right now we're just kind of being slow and steady. So that's okay. But that pop will come just like all previous times before. If you're looking to buy Bitcoin and crypto for the first time and you don't know where to get started, head over to CryptosRus.com and click on the best exchange guide. Within, you'll find a list of exchanges that I recommend and some that I use on a daily basis. If you are outside the US, I highly recommend looking at Binance.com first. They are the biggest exchange out there, supported in almost every single country. They have a fantastic fiat on-ramp, off-ramp system. They offer the most trading pairs and the lowest fees in the industry. You could also download a mobile app onto your Android and Apple device very easily. If you are in the US, I recommend taking a look at the sister company of Binance, Binance.us, which offers all of these things and more. So if you want to learn more, head over to CryptosRus.com or utilize the links in the description of this video.